welcome back to Brain Smart Start. Today I am doing Brain Smart Start for you guys, Mr. Luke. I know you guys have been seeing Miss Stephanie and then Mr. Luke and Miss Stephanie, Mr. Luke. Like I said, we're going to go back and forth and you're going to be seeing both of us, okay, for the time being. Alrighty guys, so Wildcats, let me hear you sing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And we're all in this together. We are wow, you and me, united and free. We are all in this together. We are wow, you and me, united and free. We are all in this together. We are wow. Alright, everybody at the Wow Center or from the Wow Center, you guys are at your homes. I hope that you were able to sing along and remember that we are all still one big happy family and that we miss you guys very much, but we hope again that you can see us through these videos and I guess feel like you're connected to us in the same way that we were before. Okay? Okay guys, so let's go right into it. Alright, we're going to do our stretching for today. Get our blood pumping and our muscles moving, okay? All right, so we're gonna start again, like we always do. Right arm over, and we're gonna count to 10 seconds. Okay, ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Now the other side. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. Okay. Counting in sign language for those of you who are wondering. Okay, now we're going to do our stretch like so. Okay, so now you're going to count to 10 seconds with me again. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Now the other side. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. All right. All right, let's go ahead and do our forearms. Again, remember, we're stretching these tendons, right, that let us do this and this, so that in the future we don't have as much trouble doing that. And so, or if you have trouble doing it now, it might help you a little bit, okay? So, remember to pull back, but not too hard so you don't hurt yourself. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now towards the bottom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now the other side, ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, towards the bottom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good job. Okay, again, let's stretch our necks. All right, and pull to the right, 10 seconds, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the other side, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, very good job. All right, let's do our shoulder shrugs, and then we'll go on to our legs, and then we'll be done with stretching, okay? And 10, we're going to do 10 shoulder shrugs, okay? Remember to do them slowly. Don't just like throw them up like this, but you're going to go up slowly and down slowly. All right? Ready? We're going to do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Good job, guys. All right, let's go down to our legs, okay? So we're going to touch our toes, then we're going to do to the right side and then to the left side, okay? All right, 10 seconds. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now to the right side. Spread your legs in a V formation. You go to the right side, 10 seconds, left side, 10 seconds. Okay, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Left side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, people. Okay. All right. So I hope you feel relaxed and stretched out and ready to go for the rest of the day. So let's move on to our ASL lesson for today. All right. So you guys remember we have been looking at some different words this week in relation to the holiday coming up, and I know you guys remember. Give you a second to think about it. Easter, right? We have Easter on Sunday and Good Friday on Friday. So remember, our words were holiday. So remember, holiday was kind of like the sign for fine, but you're going to move your right hand up here, and you're going to bring your left hand up, and you're going to go holiday. Holiday. Okay? All right. Celebrate. Celebrate, remember? So you're going to go opposite directions, and you're going to do the hook shape. Celebrate. Celebrate. Okay, miracle. Remember, miracle was like two signs in one, right? So it's like this, then you pop, and then you do like that, okay? So remember, pop, up and down, okay? That is a sign for miracle. Okay, Easter, 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 okay? And so Easter is coming up on Sunday, right? So that means that we have to know the sign for Sunday as well, right? Okay, so Sunday is like this. Sunday. Sunday. One more time. Sunday. Okay? For those of you who don't know, that sign actually comes from people who would go to church and they saw that people would worship with their hands up or whatever, and so they decided to copy that, and so that became the sign for Sunday, right? Because Sunday is when people would go to church, essentially. So, and still do today, obviously. So, last sign, the one that you guys like, I know you guys like this a lot, bunny, right? So, bunny, you have your hands like this, and you kind of just do a little flip, flip. That is a sign for bunny, right? You could also do just two fingers up like this. Just make sure you're not pointing forward because that is a sign for horse. Okay, so bunny, bunny, or bunny. Okay? All right, very good job, guys. I know that you are paying attention. Those of you who could remember those signs, remember tomorrow we have a little quiz for you guys on these signs. So in the morning when you guys see Brain Smart start, I'm going to do a little quiz where I'm going to stand here like I just did and tell you the names of the signs, but I'm not going to do the signs for you right away. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to be able to find out what the sign is, okay? So that's for tomorrow, okay? Let's just go ahead and move along to our breathing for today. So our breathing for today is going to be butterfly breathing is the breathing for today. So remember, you guys take your hands like this, and when we breathe in, you're gonna flutter upwards, and then when you breathe out, you flutter downward. Okay? And so we're gonna do that 3 times. I'm going to say breathe in each time, except the last time it's going to be silent, okay? Ready? Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, one more time. Very good. Again, I hope you feel a little relaxed and maybe a little at ease or at peace, right? If you were struggling with anxiety, even if this is a constant thing, I hope that this could make you feel a little better, okay? All right, birthdays for today. We have Amy. So Amy, we love you, and we're going to sing you a little happy birthday song right now. So everybody else who's watching this, or if you're with Amy right now, we're going to sing her happy birthday, okay? And this is also for any of you who have friends and family who have birthdays today as well. All right, guys, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you. All right, Amy, again, we love you, and we hope you have an amazing day today, and we hope that you can enjoy these videos and, take something out of it and just have a great time, all right? Okay, our commitment for this week is to watch the videos, okay? So I know we send you guys these videos every single day, and you guys are able to watch parts of it, but we encourage you guys to watch all the way through so you can get all the experiences that you need, right? So you get all the classes from technology to social services to CBE to music to life and works to art, and you name it. Every single thing, sports, right? All one of these are important, and it's it's very important that you guys take all this information in, and also so you guys can see us and I guess be able to relate while we are here together. Okay, even if it's through videos. So with that said, let's move on to our current events for today. So in our news, we have, this is first of all, Autism Awareness Month. Okay, so just make sure that you are telling your friends and family about that, raising awareness for autism, and that we love you who have autism very, very much. Okay, so with that being said, coming up, we have something called Maundy Thursday. If you don't know, something called Maundy Thursday exists, and it's basically the day that comes right before Good Friday. Now, a lot of people don't really know about this because it's not a traditional practice or a traditional service that people might go to for church or whatever you do, but it is something that exists, and it's a day that I guess they look forward to, that Friday that comes after, where they celebrate Good Friday. Okay, it is also Winston Churchill Day. So Winston Churchill Day is basically a day where we remember Winston Churchill and all of the things that he did, and how he was able to, I guess, advance the knowledge in the UK, and so on and so forth, right? In other news, a husband was able to surprise his wife for his or her 84th birthday, right? Now this was a big surprise, and I'll tell you why. He was in isolation, which means that his group home that he lived in was actually, they had to shut down because someone had the virus in the group home, meaning that he could not leave and go and see his wife, even though it was his birthday or her birthday. And so she thought that she wasn't going to be able to see him for the birthday, but he went and surprised her because they had let the people go, and she didn't know. And so he went up to her, surprised her, and it was a beautiful moment because they both got to celebrate their love for each other, and she didn't even know it was going to happen. Okay, and lastly, but not least, a dance instructor is 80 years old, and she is still teaching to this day. And so she recommends that everyone just gets creative in this time that we're stuck at home and that we're not able to go out and experience the world that we used to. She expresses a lot of creativity in her work, and she says that since we're at home, we have a lot more time to be creative. So I encourage you, every single one of you, to try and be creative in some way, shape, or form. Okay? I know it's kind of hard because a lot of times you don't know what to do, right? But some things you maybe like to do, like drawing, right? Or coloring, or maybe going on the computer and finding out how to do different things. Those things are important to do at this time because otherwise you're just going to be bored and sitting around doing nothing, right? So how much better is it to go and get creative with something that you love, okay? So I encourage all of you guys to do that today and for the rest of the time that we're here, okay? So with that being said, guys, we are going to move into our daily meditation, okay? When I clap my hands together, you are going to be magically transported into the world of meditation. You're going to meditate for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back and have some final statements, okay?
Close your eyes and make yourself comfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly and gently breathe out through your mouth. Again, take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly and gently breathe out through your mouth. One more time. Deep breath in and slowly and gently breathe out through your mouth. Fantastic. You are doing really well. Now imagine that your feet feel all floppy and loose, but very, very relaxed, almost as if they are falling asleep. Can you feel it? Now imagine all of your body feeling the same way, all floppy and loose. You are feeling so relaxed and so very happy. Now I want you to imagine that you have roots growing out from the soles of your feet. Roots that look just like the roots of a tree, very long and very wobbly. Now push those roots deep into the ground, and you can hear them growing deeper and deeper. And you can hear them as they push their way through the soil, and it tickles just a little bit. Can you feel it? Can you feel the soil under your feet? This is called grounding. This keeps your energy planted in the ground so that you too can grow big and strong, just like the tree. Now imagine a beautiful white light surrounding your whole body. A light so bright that you shine much brighter than the brightest star. But it doesn't hurt you to look at it. This beautiful, pure white light is protecting you always. It's just like having your very own force field. Can you see it? Great. You are doing really well. Now I want you to see yourself standing in front of a huge tree. And this tree has deep, deep roots. And it has branches that reach out in every direction. And you notice that this amazing tree has a rope ladder hanging down from one of its branches. And you look up to see the greatest treehouse you have ever seen. You have always wanted your very own treehouse. And now you have found one. Your secret treehouse. This is your special place. The place where only you can go. And in this treehouse, you feel very safe and warm. And you feel you can do anything you want here. And you can. Because it is your treehouse. You have windows in your treehouse. Maybe you even have a trap door in the floor, so you can get down your tree even quicker if you want to. You may have some plants in your treehouse. Plants with beautiful coloured flowers. All of your favourite things are here with you. And you can have a swing hanging from the ceiling if you want to. Can you see it? Can you see the swing moving gently backwards and forwards? Inside your treehouse, think about all the things that make you feel good. All the things that make you smile. Is it a favourite toy? Is it a favourite pet? Or is it somebody special? Someone you love very, very much? See it in your mind's eye. Can you see it? Go ahead and design the inside of your treehouse now. Make it look just how you want it to be. Anything that makes you happy, anything you feel happy about. When you think about it, it is there in your treehouse, your secret treehouse. every time you go inside your treehouse, you feel really, really relaxed and so very happy. This is a place to let go of all of your thoughts, all of your worries. Just let them go. They don't matter here. And this is the place to let go of anything that may make you sad. This is a place of happiness just for you. It is very safe here. Now I'm going to leave you for just a few moments so you can explore your very own secret treehouse. Do you feel happy? Can you feel your heart bursting with joy? You are so happy, so peaceful and calm. Everything you ever wanted is here. Now, take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly and gently breathe out through your mouth. You feel very peaceful and very relaxed inside your secret treehouse. This is a place that you can go to any time you want to, and you will always feel peaceful and calm and happy. Know that your treehouse is always here for you, because in your secret treehouse you are always safe, you are always loved, and you are always protected. Now, take a deep breath and imagine yourself walking back down the hanging ladder and out of your treehouse. Take another deep breath and slowly and gently bring your attention back into the room. One more big deep breath. Now wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, rub your hands together to make them warm. And whenever you are ready, slowly and gently open your eyes, always knowing you can come to your secret treehouse anytime you wish.
And welcome back, people. I hope you enjoyed that meditation, but now we're awake and ready to go for the rest of your classes today. And with that being said, I'm going to tell you what those classes are coming up, okay? So after Brain Smart Start, you're going to have technology. After technology, you're going to have your social services, a little session. Then after that, you're going to have some time with CBE. Afterwards, you're going to have music class, right? Followed by that, you're going to have your lunch break, and don't forget about your Zoom meeting, okay? Do not forget, all right? We're going to have it at 12:30, okay? After lunch and the Zoom meeting, we're going to have Life and Works, and after that, we're going to have art, and then lastly, but not least, we're going to go over your rights and review for tomorrow's schedule, okay? So with that all being said, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. You guys, take care. Bye, guys.
Hello guys, my name is Carlos. This is the sun. And this is a journey through the solar system in 20 seconds. Hello guys and welcome back to STEM class. It's a pleasure for me to be with you again. If you remember our last class, we are learning about the space. We learned also about the Milky Way galaxy, and we introduced a little bit about the solar system. So today's class is about completely the solar system. The first things that we need to talk about when we talk about the solar system is the sun. The sun is a star, just like the many stars that you can see in a clear night, just closer to us. Now, still the sun is a very far away from Earth. It's actually almost 93 million miles away from here. Imagine how many time we need to go over there. That is why it looks so small, even though it's the biggest object in the solar system. The sun is so big that you can fit more than 1 million Earths into it. More than that, the sun is what holds the solar system together. Its massive gravity is what keeps the Earth and all the other planets colliding around it. The sun, it's also what allowed us to live on Earth. Without the sun, there will be no heat. There will be no light. Plants cannot grow. Water will be freeze. And nothing could survive, including us. The sun can give us heat and light because it's always burning. And that's because it's a giant ball of gas burning at millions of degrees. As we move away from the sun, the first planet that we will encounter is Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system. Mercury looks a lot like our moon actually. It's a small and has a rocky surface with craters on it. This planet has no air to breathe and it has burning temperature in the sun, and also it's very cold freezing point in the shade. Also, Mercury is the fastest planet to go around the sun. It only takes 88 days to do it. Now, the second planet in the solar system is Venus. Venus is a very similar planet to Earth in size and gravity, but that's the only thing they have in common. Venus is a very hot planet. In fact, it's the hottest planet in the solar system, and this makes it the second brightest object in the sky, just behind, of course, the sun and the moon. Venus needs 224 days to go around the sun. Now it's turn of the planet Earth, our home planet, the third planet in the solar system. Earth has the ideal conditions to sustain life. And as far as we know, Earth is the only planet we can find living creatures. Of course, the planet Earth is so complex, it has so many characteristics that will cover a whole video just talking about it. In fact, let's leave the Earth here, since we're gonna have a whole class just dedicated to this planet. Mars, the fourth planet in the solar system, is known as the red planet because of the materials around its surface make it look this color. This planet is very cold and rocky, and people couldn't breathe there very well, even though some scientists believe that it's the closest planet to Earth, in the meaning of that maybe one day we can live there. But that's things for the future. Mars also has moons, as the planet. Mars has 2 moons to be precise, but much smaller than our moon. And to Mars, it takes 687 days to go around the sun. Jupiter. Jupiter is the fifth planet from the sun. It's the largest planet in the solar system, and it's called the gas giant, since its complete surface is made out of gas. Jupiter is so big that you will have to put 11 Earths end to end just to stretch across its middle. Jupiter has at least 67 moons, all of them going around the planet at all moments. Also, Jupiter needs over 11 years to go around the sun. Just imagine how long this is. The last time that Jupiter was where it is right now, I was 19 years old. That is a long time. The next planet, the sixth in our list from the Sun, is actually my favorite, Saturn. Saturn is another gas giant, and it's famous for its beautiful rings. Although these rings look solid from the distance, the rings are actually made of many small ice particles, as well as rocks and dust. Saturn also has more than 60 moons orbiting around it at all moment. And for this planet, it takes 29 years to go around the sun. Again, when this planet was where is it right now, the last time I was 1 year old. Imagine that. That is a long time. The seventh planet is Uranus. It's another gas giant, but it's a lot smaller than Saturn and Jupiter. Unlike any other planet in the solar system, these planets spin sideways. Uranus has rings around it, although they are much smaller than Saturn's, and around 27 moons as well. The color of this planet is kind of blue, and this is because it's fully covered by clouds that are the same color. The Uranus needs 84 years to go around the sun. And finally, the eighth and farther planet from the sun is Neptune. Neptune is also blue, like Uranus, pretty much because of the same reason, the consistency in their clouds. Also has 14 moons that we know about. So, because Neptune is so far from the sun, it takes a very long time to go around it. For this planet needs over 164 years to finish its orbit around the sun. That is the longest time that a planet needs to orbit the star. And all these were the most relevant facts that we can say about the 8 planets that conform the solar system. Now, how is that we know so much about it since we are here in Earth and those are so far? Well, I want to take the next 5 minutes before I explain our project for today to talk about a small topic, and that is the satellites. But I'm not talking about the moon, which is the Earth satellite. I'm talking about artificial satellites that we build and we launch into the space to learn more about the planets and other things that are in outer space. I have a small video for you, so pay attention, guys.
Hey Squeaks, what are you looking at? Oh, it looks like Squeaks noticed an interesting light moving across the night sky, and he's trying to figure out what it is. You know, I don't think that's a meteor, and I don't think it's an airplane either. It's moving very steadily in a straight line across the sky, and it's not twinkling or blinking. That means it's probably a satellite. A satellite is something that orbits or goes around a planet or star, and there are lots of different types. Some natural things are satellites, like the moon, because it goes around the Earth. But usually when people talk about satellites, they mean the ones that were made by people and launched into space. They're sort of like spaceships moving around the Earth, and they're usually made up of a computer along with solar panels to get power from the sun. Sometimes they also have cameras or other scientific tools to help them gather information. People sent our very first satellite into space in the year 1957. It was called Sputnik, and it was only about the size of a beach ball. These days, there are more than 2,000 satellites up there. I know! It's hard to even imagine so many things moving around the planet at the same time, but they have all kinds of different jobs. Some satellites help us study the Earth. For example, they can take pictures or collect data about the Earth's surface. That way, scientists can learn more about things like the temperature of the oceans and see what's happening to the glaciers and other types of ice all over the world. Satellites can also monitor the weather, which meteorologists, the scientists who study weather, use to learn about big storms like hurricanes. But scientists aren't the only people who use satellites. Turns out that you and me and even Squeaks benefit from using satellites all the time. Whenever you use the map on a phone or in a car to go somewhere, it's using satellites in space to figure out where you are so it can tell you where to go. Some types of TVs and phones also use satellites because sometimes it can be easier to send information to faraway places on Earth if you use a satellite as the messenger. With satellite TV, for example, the signals from all the channels get sent to a satellite, which then sends the signals back down to lots of people's houses and their TVs. The biggest satellite orbiting our planet is the International Space Station. It's as big as a football or soccer field, and people actually live on it. There are usually 6 astronauts on the space station at a time, and most of them stay there for about 6 months. When they're floating around on the space station, they can do all kinds of cool science experiments that they couldn't do here on Earth. And Squeaks, I think that's what you saw moving across the sky, the International Space Station. You can usually see the space station on a clear night if it's flying over where you live not long after the sun goes down. It'll look like a little point of light moving in a steady straight line all the way across the sky with no blinking lights, which is exactly what Squeaks saw. I don't know about you, Squeaks, but I'm definitely going to be thinking about satellites the next time I watch TV or get a phone call. And we should keep a lookout for the space station the next time it goes zooming by. Thanks for joining us. If you want to keep learning and having fun with Squeaks and me, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time here at the Fort.
And that's how satellites work. Now, I know that you saw in the video that most satellites are used for weather or also for telecommunications or TV. But also the last one that they mentioned, the International Space Station, is used to, well, besides experiments, see to the different planets and study the planets. And there is other satellites that were launched far away from the Earth just to study the different planets as well. But how do we put a satellite in orbit? Well, we need a rocket, and that's the experiment for today. I have one last video that was made by the Deering State team, a fantastic museum here in Miami-Dade County in Color Bay. They explained very well the science behind a rocket. So pay attention, and at the end I'll leave you the list of materials that they used so you can build your own. Okay? Awesome, guys. It was amazing to be with you. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Welcome to the Deering State. On today's virtual field trip, we'll be discussing the scientific method as we design, build, and test Alka-Seltzer-powered film canister rockets. While conducting this experiment, we're going to be following the scientific method, which is a step-by-step investigation model to guide scientific inquiry. The scientific method has 8 key steps, and we're going to be starting with step 1. The first step of the scientific method is to make an observation. Observations are made using one of your 5 senses. And for this experiment, we'll be observing what happens when we drop a solid Alka-Seltzer tablet into liquid water. As you can see, it produces a gas. This is an example of a chemical reaction. The second step of the scientific method is to ask a question. Your question needs to be testable, and it needs to be based on your observation. For our experiment, we're going to be asking, how can we design a rocket built around a film canister and powered by Alka-Seltzer that can launch at least 6 feet up into the air? The third step of the scientific method is to conduct research. We conduct research in order to get more background information related to our experiment. For our experiment, we conducted research on air resistance, pressure, gravity, and chemical reactions. The next step of the scientific method is to form a hypothesis. A hypothesis is basically a predicted answer to your question. Hypotheses usually take form in the statement that follows the format of an if, then, because statement. For this experiment, we'll be following the hypothesis that states, if we add a cone to the top of our rocket, wings to the side, and fill it only 1/4 with water, then it will be able to launch at least 6 feet into the air because it's going to be aerodynamic and have the right amount of water to fuel it. Following the scientific method, the next step is going to be designing your experiment. When you're designing your experiment, the first job that you have to do is come up with your design or your plan. Now your design should be very detailed. I've drawn out my design here, labeling what I plan to make and what materials I plan to use. After designing your experiment, the next job is to collect your supplies. I decided to use cardboard to make my wings, construction paper to make my cone, and tape to hold it all together. When building our experiment, it's important that we have the film canister's lid facing downwards. That way, when our experiment launches up into the air, it's the canister that launches. Using my construction paper, I have formed a cone, which I will add to the top of my experiment. And I have my wings ready to be attached to the sides. Now that we have our rocket built, we're moving on to step 6 of the scientific method, which is our testing. During our testing period, we're going to be including multiple trials. Including multiple trials gives us the ability to average our results and make sure that there's no outside influencing factors that are contributing to how our rocket is performing. The next step of the scientific method is to record and analyze the results. As you can see, we recorded how high our rocket was able to launch during each of our 3 trials. It launched an average of 6.3 feet into the air. This means that if we're analyzing our results, it was able to achieve the goal we set out. The final step of the scientific method is to form a conclusion and share that conclusion with your community. Because our rocket was able to perform at our expected goal, we're going to be able to fail to reject our hypothesis. And we're going to be sharing that information with our community because it allows them to have additional information if they try to recreate this experiment in the future. If you're planning to do this experiment at home but you don't have a film canister like ours, you could also recreate it with a cork and a water bottle. Additionally, you can change up this experiment by altering the design of the outside of the rocket, using different amounts of water, or even using different amounts of Alka-Seltzer. If you end up doing this experiment at home, be sure to tag us in your pictures and photos on Instagram @DiscoverDeering. We hope you enjoyed this virtual field trip to the Deering Estate. See you next time.
Oh boy, it's been, 18 days since I last saw your beautiful faces. I miss you all so much and hope you and your families are all doing well through these times. Um, just hoping that we'll all be back together very soon. I miss you all so much and love you, and I have been keeping you in my thoughts and prayers and my heart. So I love you. Take good care.
Hi everyone, Susie here. Are you ready for our daily CBE lesson? I am, and I'm excited about this one because it is about one of my favorite seasons. Today's lesson is about spring. Here in my hand I have a little flower that's just bloomed in my garden. Isn't it pretty? It's one of my favorite scents too. It smells really nice, and that flower came from a plumeria plant, also known as a frangipani in some places. And I've got a nice one potted in my backyard, but now that it's spring, I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to plant it in my garden. So maybe in another few lessons, I will plant it. Who knows, maybe even for Earth Day. So today we're going to talk about the season, spring. As many of you know, there are 4 seasons. Do you know what your seasons are? The 4 seasons are spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And sometimes we call the autumn fall. And right now we're entering spring. During spring, everything seems to bloom. Trees are full of flowers and brand new green leaves, and the birds are chirping because they are starting their mating season. And that means that very soon there will be lots of tiny little chirpy sounds everywhere as their eggs begin to hatch. So I would like you to keep an eye out for birds in your garden and see what you see. Let me know. Let me know if you see. In my garden, I have a beautiful blue jay that comes every day. I swear, I feel like that blue jay knows me. So today we're going to be talking about how we experience spring. And we experience spring because we use our senses. And our senses are how we experience the world around us, right? So how many senses do we have? Do you know how many senses we have? We have 5 senses. And one of the reasons that I love spring is because I feel like all of my senses are drenched in spring, right? So in the springtime, when I go for a nature walk or whatever, I can see the nature around me, like the beautiful colors in this flower. It's got yellow and it's got pink. So I see the nature around me, all those beautiful blooming flowers, all those lovely little birds that are everywhere. In the spring, I can also hear a lot of new sounds. And the sounds that I am hearing with my little ears is a lot of birds chirping. And it seems to me like this year there are more birds than usual. And that's probably because there is a reduced amount of pollution in the air. Because right now we're all quarantined at home and we are not out in our cars, so there isn't a lot of car congestion. So the birds are starting to swoop in, and maybe we'll get to see different birds than we normally get to see in our gardens this spring. So that's something to look forward to, right? There you go. In the spring, you can also smell new scents, right? New smells. Like the scent of this flower. It has a very sweet scent. But you can also smell, for instance, the scent of fresh cut grass, right? Or the scent of the rain. When the rain falls, it feels like the world smells differently, doesn't it? A nice rain shower can leave a very nice fresh scent. I can also feel new things in the spring. Going back to my flower, it's very soft. In the winter, it feels like everything has died, so everything is rough and grainy and gritty, and the grass is brown, but it has a crinkly texture to it, and the trees don't have any leaves on them. But now in the spring, when our trees start to get leaves again, you can feel how soft they are, and there's such a nice softness to a brand new leaf, isn't there? I think so. And now we're going to come to taste. What do you taste in the spring that maybe you don't taste all the time? Well, in the spring, we start to eat summer foods, right? So maybe you're having ice cream, or maybe your coffee is iced instead of warm because we're no longer so cold all the time, right? So right now, for instance, I'm having a nice iced coffee that my son made me. So in the spring, we taste different things. There's also spring desserts because now we've got lots of berries that are springing up and fruits that we can enjoy. All of those are a product of spring. So today in our lesson, we're going to look at some of the sights of spring. I'm also going to show you a video on a song that is called Spring. And we are going to work on a special spring activity. Included in your packets for today will be this activity, and it's called Wake Up Senses. And our activity for today is going to be themed for spring. I'm also sending, for those of you who love your word searches, I'm also sending you a nice spring word search that you can do on your own, okay? So let's think about what we know through our 5 senses about spring. I want you to think, what makes spring different for you? What do you think of when you think of spring? I know a lot of people are excited because Sunday is Easter Sunday. So maybe for you, spring means chocolate bunnies. I don't know. But whatever it means for you, I want you to think about it, because when we write our spring assignment, and we're going to write a poem, when we write our poem, I want you to use those things that mean spring to you. So like I said, our senses are how we experience the world around us, right? So we use different parts of our body that are tied to each one of our 5 senses. And that is how we get information that goes to our brains about our environment. So let's start with sight. When you experience sight, what part of your body are you using? You're using your eyes. And my eyes are getting a little bit old, so I'm getting to a point where I'm going to need to buy myself some glasses. But whether you have great vision or you maybe have a bit of trouble with your vision, our eyes form a part of how we experience our world. Sound. How do we experience sound? What do we use to hear? What part of your body do you use to hear the beautiful sounds of spring? You probably answered correctly. Your ears. We use our ears to hear all those lovely sounds of spring. And for me, the sound of spring could be a spring shower on the roof, or it could be the sound of wind moving through the trees, or that, like I said before, the sound of happy little birds chirping away and baby chicks just out of their eggs. Taste. What part of your body do you use to taste those delicious spring fruits and spring desserts and cool drinks that we start to enjoy in the spring? We use our tongues, correct? And our tongues have lots of little receptors. They're called taste buds. And we use our taste buds to taste all of those lovely flavors of spring. Smell. What do you use to take in the fragrance? That's what the nice smell of a flower is called. The fragrance of this lovely flower went in through my nose. So I use my nose to experience spring as well. And what do we use to feel? Well, yes, we do use our hands to feel. But did you know that your whole skin can feel things? That's how when you brush up against a tree, you can feel it in your arm. Or if a puppy comes up against you and starts to jump up on you, you feel it on your leg. That's because our skin helps us to feel things, right? And touch is one of our 5 senses. So right now, I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. And I'm going to describe to you a beautiful spring day. So you wake up in the morning and you step outside of your house, and all around you there's a nice breeze and you can feel it on your skin. And then you notice that the plumeria tree in your garden has bloomed and it has beautiful flowers, and they're pink and they're yellow. You reach out and you touch one of the petals of that flower and it's so soft and so new. As you touch it, you lean in and you take a deep breath and you smell the beautiful scent that's coming from that flower. Because it's quiet outside, because it's early morning, you can also hear the chirping of all the lovely little birds that have come to make their home in the trees around it. Okay, now I want you to open your eyes. Did you see that spring day? What did your flowers look like? What did the breeze feel like on your skin? What did the petals of the flowers feel like in your hands? These are all things that I want you to remember as we work on our worksheet. So on our worksheet, we're going to write kind of a poem. It's not a rhymey poem. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to find words that rhyme. It's just going to be a poem that you're going to write about anything having to do with spring. So for instance, I might write for my topic, I might write flowers. And then I would write, I see a flower. If you have trouble writing, you can get someone to help you write it, or you can just draw a photo of what you see. You can draw a picture of what you see. Sorry. Then you're going to write, I hear. What do you hear in the spring around your house? I just described for you what I hear in the spring around mine, but what do you hear in the spring around yours? And again, you can get someone to help you write the words. So I would put chirping birds or just birds. And then you can draw a picture of what that happy little bird looks like. Taste. What do you taste in the spring? I might write a chocolate Easter bunny egg, or just chocolate. Or I might write, I don't know, berries, some nice fruit that you enjoy to eat in the spring, cantaloupe maybe, chilled cantaloupe is nice. And then you can draw a picture of it. And then I smell. What do you smell in that? What is your favorite spring scent? My favorite spring scent is right here in my hair. It's my flower, my plumeria flower. So I would write flowers, and then I would draw a picture of my flowers. And then I feel. What do you feel in the spring that is different than something that you feel? And I mean what you can feel with your hands and with your skin. Not what you feel inside your heart. Not I feel happy, but maybe I feel a little duck. Maybe there's little ducks in your, we had ducks in my garden once that we took care of. And I used to love to pick up the little ducklings and feel their little feathers because they were so very soft. So I'm going to write, I feel. You could feel the leaf of a tree, you could feel the petals of a flower, but something that has to do with spring. And then you can draw a picture, or you could just draw a picture instead of a word if you have trouble writing. So what I want you to do is I want you guys please to have these ready on Friday so that when we have our Zoom meeting, which I invite all of you to join, you can show me your Wake Up Senses poem. And like I said, don't worry about rhyming. It doesn't have to rhyme. It's just more about what you sense in the world around you. For the next part of our class on spring, I'm going to play you a beautiful piece of music written by a man called Antonio Vivaldi. And he wrote it for a bigger piece that he did that was called The Four Seasons. So I hope you enjoy it and you can let it play while you work on your worksheet. So, did you enjoy Spring by Antonio Vivaldi? It is a beautiful piece of music, isn't it? Anyway, I think so. So now I'm going to show you a video about the nature that you have in your own backyard. And it gives some helpful tips on some things that we can all do to maybe attract some more of that nature. Maybe you want more songbirds in your backyard so that you can experience the beautiful sounds of spring. Enjoy.
In this short video, we'll show and explain all the key things you need to know about feeding the birds in your garden, and doing so in a way which attracts the maximum number of species and takes into account their health and well-being. So, some basics to start off with. Although there are many species of birds which visit gardens, the majority are songbirds, and very broadly we can split them into two groups simply by the shape of their bills. Looking close up at this robin, you can see that the bill is relatively pointed. This means that the natural food it eats is mainly invertebrates such as worms and insects. Whereas this house sparrow has a more triangular bill to crack open seed husks, as is the case with the greenfinch. For example, a seed like black sunflowers presents no problem to these species. They can very easily take the husk off to get to the nutritious heart, whereas the robin can't crack open a seed husk, but can eat the contents if the husk is already removed, as you can see here with sunflower hearts, which are what's inside black sunflower seeds. This also demonstrates another key point about feeding birds. You also need different types of feeders, and including those which go on the ground. This is because species such as robin, blackbird, song thrush and dunnock, so the ones with the more pointed bills, which favour invertebrates as their natural food, more typically feed on the ground, and therefore find it difficult or impossible to cling on to hanging feeders. So these species need a ground feeder or bird table with food which includes seeds but with no husk on. Whereas finches, sparrows and tits are all fine with hanging feeders and with seed which can have a husk on. But don't blue tits and great tits also have pointed bills? They do indeed. But watch here how the highly dexterous great tits deal with a black sunflower seed. Firstly, it easily lands on the perch of the feeder, which it can do because its natural food is typically invertebrates, which it catches in trees and shrubs, and then flies to a branch where it holds the seed in its feet and then pecks away at the seed husk with its sharp bill in order to get out the nutritious heart. Coal tits can do the same. This behaviour is very different to how finches eat the same food, as they'll stay on the feeder perch and remove the husk and eat it using only their bill. So, let's now look at the range of foods available and the different types of feeder for them. Straight foods, as the name suggests, are seed types and also peanuts, which haven't been mixed with anything else. The main ones include black sunflower seeds, sunflower hearts, Niger seed, red millet, white millet, plus peanuts. With the exception of Niger seed and peanuts, which we'll come back to, straight seeds are best fed from a tube feeder, like this one. In addition, sunflower hearts can be fed from a bird table or ground feeder. For Niger seed, this is so tiny that it needs a special feeder with very small ports to prevent the seed from running out. Niger is a real favourite of goldfinches, and you stand a very good chance of encouraging this colourful bird into your garden if you feed Niger from a special feeder like this one. For peanuts, these should only ever be fed from a mesh feeder, as having them loose on a bird table or in a tube feeder means that birds such as robins can try to swallow them whole, and this can cause them to choke to death. Peanuts remain a real favourite for many birds and can attract special species such as great spotted woodpecker and nuthatch. A very important note about peanuts is that you should only ever buy product which is labelled as nil detectable signs of aflatoxin or similar words, as this ensures the peanuts are entirely safe for birds to eat. Next up, it's mixes which are all seed-based, though some mixes contain other ingredients such as sultanas and suet pellets. Mixes have the obvious advantage over straight foods in that one product can do the job of many. And if you choose a mix which has husk-free seeds, then one product can cater for most of the birds in your garden, though not quite all, which we'll come back to. It's still important, though, to think about how you feed the mix, and the same husk-free mix on a bird table or ground feeder will ensure that other species, like this female blackcap, get their share. Another reason to use a husk-free mix is that it can really help if you're pushed for time. This is because it's essential that the waste is cleaned up from underneath the feeders, as leaving it can cause harmful bacteria to build up, which in turn can lead to fatal diseases for birds. So with little or no waste from a husk-free mix, this helps solve the problem. Now onto the increasingly popular range of suet products, which comes as pellets, balls and blocks. Suet pellets are very versatile and can be fed from a mesh feeder, on a bird table or a ground feeder. In a mesh feeder, they're a very good alternative to peanuts and will attract long-tailed tits, which is one of the species which won't normally feed on seeds or mixes, however they're fed. Suet balls and suet blocks are easy to feed and just go into purpose-made cages like these. All the different species of tit love suet blocks and balls. Plus great spotted woodpecker and, not forgetting the rather underloved starling. Now, food that not enough people feed to their garden birds. Live mealworms. Yes, they wriggle a bit, but they're just the harmless larva of a beetle. Importantly, though, they're the best possible food to put out in the breeding and fledging seasons, as they contain both the moisture and protein which young birds need to survive and flourish. With the main types of food now covered, and most of the feeders, a quick look at some different feeders which keep out grey squirrels and also larger birds such as jackdaws. Grey squirrels can be a real nuisance in gardens by hogging the bird feeders, damaging them and deterring birds from landing. Larger birds such as jackdaws, magpies and even rooks can also be a problem, and despite their size can often manage to precariously cling on to feeders. There are two types of basic feeder you can use to help solve the problem. The first being cage feeders, which prevent the squirrel or larger bird from getting at the food. These feeders are available for peanuts and suet pellets, seed and live mealworm. The second type uses an ingenious mechanism which closes the ports of the feeders when the weight of a squirrel or larger bird lands on one of the perches, and therefore prevents any food being taken. Positioning is important. The main consideration, other than them being in a good place for you to watch the action from your window, of course, is that they're away from anywhere which a cat could hide in and pounce on the birds. So avoid being too close to shrubs and other undergrowth. And if you don't have a handy tree to hang the feeders from, then a feeding station like this one is ideal. One really important aspect of feeding birds is keeping feeders and bird tables clean. This is because, and as mentioned before about not allowing waste to build up underneath feeders, dangerous bacteria can build up, which can lead to fatal diseases, something which finches are especially prone to. Now, just to summarise on the main points, you need a variety of different foods and different ways of feeding them to attract the maximum number of species. If you're pushed for time or don't want the hassle of cleaning up mess, then stick with husk-free seeds such as sunflower hearts and husk-free mixes. You should also have either a mesh peanut feeder or suet feeder to ensure that species such as long-tailed tit and great spotted woodpecker can feed. If squirrels or larger birds are a problem, then use suitable feeders to keep them out. Position feeders away from bushes and undergrowth where cats hide and pounce from, and always keep your feeders and bird tables clean. And one final thing, it's also important to provide fresh, clean water for both drinking and bathing, and as with feeders and tables, it's vital that bird baths are kept clean. We hope you found this video helpful, and there's lots more detailed information about feeding birds on our website.
Hi everybody! I just want to say welcome back to Music Therapy. It's good to be here with you. Grab your egg shaker and let's sing and play together. Hello, hello, it's time to say hello. Welcome to music, it's time to say hello. Hello, hello, it's time to say hello. Welcome to music, it's time to say hello. Now let's shake hello. Ready? With your egg shaker. Hello, hello, it's time to shake hello. Welcome to music, it's time to shake hello. And wave. Hello, hello, it's time to wave hello. Hello, music, it's time to wave hello. Sing hello, hello, it's time to sing hello. Welcome to music, it's time to sing hello. Welcome to music, it's time to sing hello. Welcome guys, good to have you here with me. I want to review 2 songs. I have gotten some great recordings of people and feedback of you guys performing Every Little Cell, and I've gotten people performing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, and I'm so excited and happy to see you guys singing along. It does my heart good, so keep those videos coming. Alright, let's sing together. He's got the whole world in His hands. 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 He's got the little bitty babies in His hands. He's got the little bitty babies in His hands. He's got the little bitty babies in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. Let's do doctors and nurses. He's got the doctors and the nurses in His hands. He's got the doctors and the nurses in His hands. He's got the doctors and the nurses in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. Did you guys ever really think about what that song means? Look at this. This is one of my son's mini toys. But it is a ball that's a globe. And look at that. I'm holding it in the palm of my hand, and it's even no big deal. Can you imagine someone holding the whole world in their hand like it's no big deal? That's crazy. And I want you to think about every little color on here represents a place that's dealing with the same thing that we are. We're in this together. We're all in this together. What we say and do makes a difference. And I think that us just performing this song together and reminding ourselves that we are all in this together, putting our songs on YouTube, people sharing music across that platform of social media. Sorry, I meant to say Instagram and Facebook. Just a lot of people sharing music and is inspiring, and it just reminds us how human we really are and that we need each other and that we're not in this together. So you guys, make that video, send it in. Let's sing it one more time. Let's do Wow Center. He's got the whole Wow Center in his hands. He's got the whole Wow Center in his hands. He's got the whole Wow Center in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Thank you, guys. All right, one more thing we need to be reminded of, that our body is healthy and happy and well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell is happy and well. Good job. You guys are remembering that song now, huh? And it plays over and over and over to remind us that we are so fortunate to be healthy, and we're going to keep saying that and keep our health up, right? Good job. So I know, like with the coronavirus and hearing the news about all these things, sometimes we miss other things that are happening in the world. And I just wanted to go over one of the things that happened this past week was that Bill Withers passed away. And he's such a legend, and his life was so valuable, and his music was just, I don't know, just so touching and inspiring, because it came from a place of him being authentic. He was always himself. And in music therapy class, you guys know that it was one of our favorite songs, was one of his, Lean on Me. We've performed it together, we've sung it together many a time, so I thought this would be a great time to do that, to just honor him by talking a little bit about his life, and also singing one of his songs together and doing a little activity around that. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit about some things I found out about Bill Withers that I thought were really, really cool. So Bill Withers was a simple man. He spoke in one of the interviews that I saw about how, the popular R&B back then, there was horns and like all this gold lame, this fancy outfits that people would wear, and they would always have their three singers, the three background doo-wop girl singers. And he said he just wasn't into all that. He refused to change who he was, and he stuck to that no matter what. And it's what made him who he was in the industry. So I heard that he was a working man. He grew up around coal mines. His dad was a coal miner in West Virginia, and he died when he was 12 years old. So imagine that must have been a really hard life that he lived. He also grew up with a stutter. And a stutter is a pattern of speaking, or a hard way of speaking that you can't get the words out if you don't know what a stutter is. And maybe you've heard someone who talks with a stutter. Maybe you have a stutter. Maybe someone you know has a stutter, and you know how hard it is to get your thoughts out, what you want to say. So he had a stutter until he was almost 30 years old. And he also didn't get into the music field until he was 33 years old. He was making toilets for airplanes. Weird fact, huh? So this just goes to show you, another thing is, don't ever give up on your dreams. Look at this guy. He was out there working. He was out there hustling like everybody else, working hard, a blue collar man. And all of a sudden, you know, he was, well, not probably not all of a sudden, he was working on his music, and then it was the right day and the right time, and someone heard his song, and he became famous. He also kept his day job until he had a gold record. So he didn't start and just say, oh yeah, I'm famous now. No, he continued to build those toilets until he had a gold record, and he knew it was a sure thing, and he could just live making music. I like the fact that he would never change who he was. I like the fact that he just talked so nonchalantly about his music, because people would ask him, like, how do you come up with the ideas, you know? And he said, well, a lot of people wanted to focus on the love of a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but some of his songs could just be about like your grandma, or just going through life together, just the two of us, whoever the two of us is. So he just had a different style and a different way of doing music than other people did, and that's what made him a cut above everybody else. He was also, you know, from West Virginia, so just their way of life is easy and simple. And I speak in the highest regards because I'm a Southerner, so I'm not saying anything bad when I say the word simple. The word simple can be a really, really good thing because you just focus on what's important. I think those are the basic things that stuck out to me about him. He did talk about the song Lean on Me and what it means to have somebody who sticks close to you no matter what. He talked about just in those times, you know, everybody was poor, working the coal mines. Maybe your neighbor would have something that you didn't have. So I think he said they had a television or a TV, and a telephone, and that somebody else had a refrigerator or something, so they would like share and trade off. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was just so cool because he wrote his songs like Lean on Me out of those times of like desperation where you really do need someone and you need to share what you have. So we're gonna sing the song, we're gonna kind of like talk through the lyrics a little bit, and then I have an activity for you guys to do. I want you to, as you're singing, just listen to the lyrics, and then we're going to discuss. And bear with me because I am going to pull up the lyrics for myself. This is a really beautiful song. It has a lot of lyrics, and I want to sing all of them. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me, sing with me, when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody that makes me feel good just singing that, because I know you are all out there singing that as well. So just to talk about the words a little bit, he says, sometimes in our lives we all have pain. Have you ever had pain in your life? Have you ever had physical pain, or maybe pain on the inside, emotional pain? We all have sorrow. Have you ever been sad? Have you ever lost someone or something that was important to you in your life? I know I have. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. So in the middle of this coronavirus, we don't only think about the here and now. We think ahead. We think about when we're back at school. We make our brain think about positive things that are going to happen. We're not always going to be here. We're not always going to be stuck in this predicament, right? We're not always going to be stuck in the house. It's just a short time. It feels like forever, trust me, but it's a short time. All right, the next words. The part everybody knows. Lean on me when you're not strong. Have you ever had a time where you just feel like you're not strong? You just feel really weak in that moment. You just feel like you can't do it anymore, or you feel like that you just need somebody to kind of come alongside you and lift you up a little bit, or give you a word of encouragement. I know I've been there. I've been there during the coronavirus. I've had to call people and lean on people to help me. So it says, I'll be your friend and I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm going to need somebody to lean on. So that highlights what a good friend is. So to be a good friend, you help somebody carry on. You come alongside and lift up their arm as they walk, or give them a word of encouragement, or a phone call when you know they need it. And then when you need it, they turn, right around, and they are the ones who are lifting you up. That's what a good friend does. You take turns. You share in the load. You share in the burden. The next one, please swallow your pride. Pride is like you don't want to ask for help because you just want to be able to do it on your own. And I know that's one of the goals that we work on at WOW, that if you need help, you ask for it. So he knew about that. He wrote, please swallow your pride if I have things that you need to borrow. For no one can fill your needs if you don't let them show. So if you don't say, hey, like I ran out of toilet paper, just kidding. I ran out of, milk or eggs, and I can't get out to the store. Do you have anything that I can use? Can I borrow? Can you drop off something for me? And when I go to the store, I'll pick up some things that you need. So this is just an example. I'm being silly with the toilet paper, but these are things that we can do in everyday life on a little scale or on a large scale. This is for everyone. And this is another reason why he was so popular, because his music spoke to everybody, no matter where you are, or what status you are, if you had money or if you didn't have money. Everybody needs a friend. Everybody. So then he wrote, just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. And it's funny because sometimes you have a problem and then you think, man, nobody's going to understand me. Nobody's going to understand what I'm going through. Nobody's going to understand when I'm talking. They're just going to laugh at me. But when we actually use our big voice and we come and we say, hey, I need help with this, or it's really important to me to do X, Y, and Z, but I can't do it alone. Can you help me figure it out? Many of the times you're going to get a yes, and you're going to get a big smile, because all we need to do is just open our mouth and ask. Don't be afraid. If there's a load that you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. And again, they're saying, I'll help you. I'm happy to help you, but I can't help unless you ask for help. So that's another thing. And then he repeats, just call me. And he says it over and over, just call me, just call me, just call me. So I think, guys, this is not only one of our favorite songs to sing in music therapy, but it's a song that has a lot of really great lyrics that are good for all of us to really study and think about. So the next time you need something, ask, reach out to a friend, and when a friend reaches out to you, be there. So that leads me to your homework. I want you to watch a conversation with Bill Withers. We're going to include the link for you. And I also want you to fill out the form, I am a friend. It's a sheet that will be in your lesson plans. And I want you to think about what makes you a good friend and what makes others a good friend to you. I am a friend when. When are you a friend? And then I want you to draw a little picture of you and one of your friends in the box. Okay? So it was great to be with you today. Let's sing goodbye to each other until the next time. Goodbye, group 1. Goodbye, group 1. Goodbye, group 1. We'll see each other soon. Goodbye, group 2. Goodbye, group 2. Goodbye, group 2. We'll see each other soon. Goodbye, group 3. Goodbye, group 3. Goodbye, group 3. We'll see each other soon. Goodbye, group 4. Goodbye, group 4. Goodbye, group 4. We'll see each other soon. Goodbye, group 5. Goodbye, group 5. Goodbye, group 5. We'll see each other soon. Goodbye to Silver. Goodbye, Silver. Goodbye, Silver. We'll see each other soon. Everybody. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. We'll see each other soon. Until next time, I wish you well.
Hey guys, happy Thursday. I hope you're having a great day so far and are enjoying the videos. My name is Julie, and today I want to talk about goal setting. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming to think about having goals for ourselves, right? But I want to help you and guide you as to how you guys can create your own goals, whether it's short-term or long-term goals. So what is a goal? A goal is the end result or achievement in which effort is directed. Goals are how we make dreams a reality. Some examples of goals are drinking more water, losing weight, learn a skill, or doing a house chore. These are all examples of short and long-term goals. So now that we have an idea of what a goal is, let's check out a video of somebody that also wanted to accomplish a goal. Okay, so we're going to talk about two types of goals, short-term goals and long-term goals. Let's start with short-term goals. Okay, these are goals that we want to achieve within one day or something a lot faster, right? We're going to be asking ourselves two questions for each type of goal. So since we're going to start with the short-term goal, the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what do we want to achieve today or in a short period of time? Some examples of short-term goals can be, going for a walk, washing the dishes, taking the trash out, things like that. The second question that we need to ask ourselves is, how are we going to achieve this goal? So if, for example, our short-term goal is going for a walk, we need to take action. So we can maybe put a timer on our phones to let us know that, oh, we have to go take a walk today, right? Or we can put our clothes out for walking, our sneakers and all that stuff, and prepare it, have it out ready. We can have somebody remind us. There's different ways that we can achieve that goal, but it's good to write it down or prepare it, okay? A long-term goal is the same thing, right? It's just gonna take you a longer time to achieve it, okay? So long-term goals can be like learning a new skill. For example, learning, how to ride a bike, learning how to play an instrument, learning a new language, or losing weight. These are all things that will take a little bit more time, right? So we're gonna ask ourselves the same questions. What is it that you wanna achieve for a longer period of time? So what is something within this year that you want to achieve? For example, we can say losing weight, right? So the second question is, how are we going to achieve losing weight? So we would write down maybe a plan for every week of things that we're going to do. Maybe go out for a walk, right? So we can achieve the long-term goal at the end. So now I want to show you another video, because videos are fun, of the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, and how how he's called in the movie, but Will Smith is about to achieve a really big goal, which is to get his dream job. And he doesn't give up, and he keeps pursuing the dream, and he was able to accomplish it. So let's check it out. Okay, so now we're gonna do an activity. I'm gonna show you how to fill it out, but I'm gonna provide this worksheet and we're gonna fill it out together. I'll give you an example, and then at the end, you guys can do it on your own with some help. Maybe a guardian or a parent can help you out, okay? So the first thing on the paper is long-term goal. I had already started, but I stopped so I can show you guys how to do it. So we are gonna write down a long-term goal that we want to achieve. So I'm gonna actually fill this out for what I want to do as well. So my long-term goal as of right now, one of them, because I have a lot, but one of them is to learn an instrument, and that would be the ukulele. So I'm gonna write it down. Okay. So, my long-term goal is to learn an instrument, okay? Let's say we want to complete this long-term goal in 1 year, okay? So the next step where the arrow is pointing is, what are ways to achieve this goal? So I'm gonna write down ways that I can achieve this goal. One thing can be to play the ukulele 1 hour a day. Let's see, what else? Play the ukulele 1 hour a day. I can look up videos. On how to play it. And since I said 1 year, so we can say 1 year from today, which today is April. I'm not sure what the day is, but let's say it's 1 year from today, okay? That way I know when I need to achieve this goal by, right? I am creating an action plan, right? So different ways of how I can achieve this goal. We're gonna skip the middle one and then just let's do the short-term goal as well. A short-term goal that I want to achieve is, we can say, wash the dishes, right? Yes, that always needs to be done. So that's something that I can put down. So what are some ways that I can achieve this goal? I would say I can wash the dishes after every meal. I can create a chart or a schedule on who will wash the dishes, whether my husband or me. Okay? So that's basically it. In order to achieve it, you need to write things down, okay? And then look back at it. All right? So in the bottom, it says, when I feel like giving up, I will tell myself. So we also need encouragement, right? So when I feel like giving up, I'm gonna tell myself to take it a day at a time. So when I look at my chart here, I'm gonna look at my action plan of things that I can do daily, and break it up in ways that I know that I can achieve it. It's something that So now it's your turn, and I want you to complete your own goal sheet. If you can't print it, you can also just use a piece of paper and markers and make it really pretty. Something that you can look at, if not every day, every week, so you can check back at your short-term and your long-term goals. So remember, let's just stick to one long-term goal and one short-term goal. So it's something that we can achieve and it doesn't feel too overwhelming. If you can, maybe get help from your parent or guardian, and that's it. So thank you for joining me.
Hello, guys. Today we're going to be recapping what we went over last time. We went over some key words. So I want to go over the words, some of their definitions, and then for your activity, it's going to be to write your definition of the word in your own sentence. Okay, so I'm going to post up the form, right? It's going to have all the words on it, and you'll be able to write your own definition after we come up with the actual definition. Okay, so I'm going to go over the definition, and you're going to go and write the definition on your own words. So if you can take out a piece of paper and pen or pencil, so you can write the vocabulary words and write the definition in your own sentence. So here we go. The first word that we spoke about yesterday was budget, right? So we spoke about budget and what budget meant and what budget means to you. That's what you're going to write, right? So the word budget, making a plan for you to have to use your money and be able to understand where the money is going to and being able to have a savings along with a spending cash. Okay, so I want to take a little bit of time, maybe like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, for you to go ahead and write that in your own words. Okie dokie. Next word is monthly. How do you get paid? Do you get paid at the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, weekly, bi-weekly? How do you get paid? Okay, so monthly, we spoke about that you would get paid every 30 days. Not many places do that, but there is some places that still do that. Okay, let's go to the other one. Weekly. On weekly, you get paid every week. It could be every Friday, every Monday, or it could be on Saturday. So on your sheet of paper, I want you to go ahead and write what the word weekly would mean if you get paid that way. I'll give you about 15 to 30 seconds. Okay, let's go with the next one. Bi-weekly. What we most of us use, or what most of us get paid through, is through bi-weekly, twice a week. It could be every other Friday, or it can be 2 days designated in the week or in the month for you to get paid. Okay, so bi-weekly. So in your own words, write what bi-weekly means. Getting paid twice. But I want you to write it in your own words. I'll give you 15 to 30 seconds as well. Go ahead. Okay. Income. Money that is received from someone that gives to you as in form of a paycheck from an employer for allowance or for money that you have earned for taking care or performing some type of work. Correct? It could be selling gifts, it could be working for Petland, it could be working for Publix, and many other places. So that's your income, what you're making, extra money that you're making, or more money that you're making in that month, or just money that you're making that month. So I'll give you about 15 to 30 seconds to go write in your own sentence what income means to you. And that's the first page, okay, that we just finished. Going up to the next page that we will post, that I'll post for you. Financial goal. What is your financial goal? Why are you working? What's the goal? Do you want to buy some clothes? Do you want to have extra money? Do you want to buy your parents, your girlfriends, your friends toys? Do you want to save money for the future to buy certain things that you may like? Or just altogether buy extra food, clothes, and so on. So money can be used, and a financial goal can be set depending on your wants and needs. So I'll give you about 15 seconds, 30 seconds to go ahead and write a sentence or a picture of what is your financial goal. Okay, so guys, if you don't want to write a sentence and write pictures, pictures are just as good. Okay, so you got your financial goal. Now the next word is savings, money that you set aside to help you reach a goal. So you may want to save for Christmas, may want to save for your birthday, may want to save for summer vacation. You may just want to save money to have for the future, for emergency. So on that sheet of paper, the second sheet of paper that says financial goals and savings, I want you to go ahead and write in your own words a sentence that means savings. You could also draw a picture. Okay, and the big one is balance. How much is your balance? You got to make sure that you have a positive balance. Making sure that you know how much you have in your bank and you're not overspending. You don't want to overspend your money. You want to be able to have a little balance every month to be able to use that or leave that in there as a savings. Give you about 15 seconds, 30 seconds to go ahead and write your own definition about balance. Expenses, the next word, expenses. So what are your expenses? Money that you spend to pay a bill, pay for everyday things and things that you do not plan for. Okay, so these are expenses that you may just have that you just weren't aware of something that you needed to pay, or weren't aware of something that you needed to add. It could be a telephone, it could be a computer that you may need. Expenses are really whole. It deals with everything, all your expenses, from buying a toothpaste to buying a toothbrush, all the way to paying your phone bill if you have one. Give you about 30 seconds to go ahead and write in your own sentence in that box, or actually on your paper, what expense means. Great. Now we have two expenses, fixed and flexible expenses. Okay, so on a fixed expense, it's an expense that is the same every time you pay. It's fixed. It's the same amount of money. Let's say you always go to Publix and you always buy your milk, your cheese, and your bread, and it's always the same exact, the milk, the cheese, and the bread. Oh, it's always going to be the same amount of money. Or like a water bill. Well, not really. Water bills change. A telephone bill, a cell phone, usually they don't change. It's usually the same amount. It could be a car bill. It could be a loan. Or it can be certain items that you buy on a regular basis that really don't switch prices that much. Flexible expenses. Expenses that you change, expenses that change each time that you pay for them. Okay, that could be like the water bill that could change, the FPL bill could change, going to Publix and shopping for many different items, that's going to change if you don't buy the same item every time. Or that may change because the prices may fluctuate up or down. Sometimes you have a buy one, get one free. Sometimes you have 20% off. So those things could change at times. But for the most, they stay pretty flexible as far as either being the same or changing in price due to sales and discounts. So on your own sheet of paper, go ahead and write what flexible expenses mean to you. Or you can draw a picture. Next page. Emergency fund. Okay? So something really important right now, an emergency fund is always going to help you out during times of need. Something very good for now that we're all home and we're going through this little phase that should end soon. An emergency fund should be something to think about for next time if you don't have one now. So go ahead and emergency fund on your sheet of paper or notepad. Go ahead, I'll give you 15 seconds to write what emergency fund is. Maybe hearing a lot of that now during this time. Next, overdraft. So we'll go really quick with this one. Overdraft is when you have $10 in your bank account and you write up a check for 15. And that means you're writing up a check more than what you have in your bank, which will cause your bank to either not pay for it and charge you or pay for it and charge you. But it's something that you have to be very careful, so you want to make sure you budget correctly. Back to the first word that we spoke about today. So give me about 15 seconds to go ahead and write what overdraft means, which is when you pay for something and you don't have enough money in your bank for it. The next one's overdraft fee, like I just said. If you do an overdraft, the bank is going to charge you several dollars. It could be 10, 15, 30 for the most part, or even more, which is not a good idea to have. So there goes for those words of budgeting. Okay, now we're going to get into a little fun activity that we also went over briefly while you guys were here in class, and those are wants and needs. So we're going to go over a little bit of wants and needs today, and then when we see each other again, we're going to go over it a little bit more in detail. But for now, I just want to introduce it. Okay? So on that same page that I posted for you, want, something that you would like to have but is not needed to survive. And you guys did really well with this when we did it together, but I want to do a refresher. So a want, is a want a candy or is it a need? It's a want. Is water a want or a need? It's a need. You have to have water, right, to live. Next, is a hot dog a want or a need? Well, it's food, so it could be a little bit of both, right? It could be a want that I want to eat this cheat meal, or it could be a need that I have to eat this hot dog because I don't have another choice. Let's go into some more. Okay, so is an electricity bill a want or a need? Is going to the wow a want or a need? A need. Okay, next let's go over some more wants and needs. Okay, there we go. All right, another want or a need. Television. Is TV a want or a need? Is eating breakfast a want or a need? Is going fishing a want or a need? Is doing your homework a want or a need? Is having a bicycle a want or a need? Is eating veggies a want or a need? Is exercising a want or a need? A need. Is going to the mall a want or a need? A want. Is being polite a want or a need? A need. And a want, both. You should want to be polite and we need to be polite. Is learning how to go on transportation, a car, STS, Uber, is that a want or a need? And lastly, one of the ones we spoke about, and we hope everybody has already, some of you guys have gone out to go get that with your parents, is an ID, a Florida ID. Is that a want or a need? That is a need. All right, guys, so that wraps up today. Okay, next time we see each other, we'll have some videos that are going to highlight what we did today as far as wants and needs. We'll touch up a little bit on the budget, and from there on out, we'll continue to work on money skills. We'll continue to work on how to stay on task, and we'll also continue how to make the right choices. Okay, I hope everybody's well at home, staying safe, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.
The objectives for this lesson are to make a sock bunny, to make an Easter bunny, and to use your creativity to create unique art pieces.
Hey guys, Caro here with another virtual art lesson for you guys. We are going to continue with our Easter theme. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I have brought in a guest, so welcome Miss Nancy.
Hello.
Alright guys, before we get started, as usual, we're going to do our quick little stretch. Alright, so we're going to stretch to our left, stretch to your right, stretch up, down, up, down, one more big one up, and down. Give yourself a big hug, squeeze, take a deep breath in, and relax. Way to go guys. Next up, I'm going to show you guys the materials that you're going to use for the activity, alright? So for our sock bunnies today, this is what it's going to look like. Alright, so I'm going to show you all of the materials that we need to recreate this bunny. Okay, so we're going to need an old sock. Okay, so I have one and Miss Nancy has one. Okay, you're going to need a cup. So we have the cup so it's easier to fill our sock in, and we're going to fill in our sock with some beans, but you guys can use whatever you have at home. So if you have rice, if you have cotton, if you have beans, whatever works for you. Okay, we're going to use some pipe cleaner for your whiskers. We're going to use some pom-poms for the tail, some googly eyes for his face, some beads for the nose, and some buttons to decorate the front of our bunny. Okay, we're also going to add in some ribbon. This is optional, you don't need it. The reason I'm using it is because we're going to use these rubber bands to secure the body and the head, and if for some reason they snap, you still have your ribbon to keep it together. Alright, so we're going to go with step 1. We're going to grab our socks and we're going to cut it right above the ankle. Okay, so I'm going to cut mine, and then Miss Nancy will go ahead and cut hers. Okay, I'm going to grab my sock and I'm going to put it over the cup just so that it's easy for you to fill. So I'm going to open the beans and pour them in. So try to pour a little bit more than half of your sock, just because the bottom of the bunny is a little bit bigger than the head. So I'm going to go ahead and pour some. Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to give some to Nancy. Remember, you can always gauge it. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to grab some rubber bands to secure the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that step for the head. So the head's going to be a little bit, a little bit smaller than the body, okay? So we're going to go ahead and put it back in the cup and fill it again. Okay, remember, just put a little bit less than the bottom. I'm going to pour some. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tie this piece. And you can always gauge it. If you don't like the shape that you're getting, you could either add more, you can take some out. It's totally up to you. Okay? So right now, all you should have is the bottom of your bunny and the head. Okay, once you're in this step, you're gonna go ahead and grab your scissors again and just do a quick snip in the middle so you can do your 2 ears. Okay, and you can shorten your ears if you want to. If they're too long, you can snip them. So I think I'm going to snip a little bit off at the top of my ears. Okay, let's see, Miss Nancy.
I'm going to cut the ears. It's too long.
Yeah, my ears were a little too long also, so I'm just going to cut them a bit. Okay, it's totally up to you. Again, your preference. If you like the long ears, you can keep them, or if you like them a little bit shorter, you can also do that. Okay, now it's time to add our details. Okay, so our bunny's gonna have 2 eyes. Remember, you can use whatever you have at home. I just happen to have these googly eyes, but if you have buttons, you can draw them on with a marker if you want to, whatever you want, and you can make them as big or small as you'd like. So I'm going to grab some medium-sized ones. I'm not sure what Miss Nancy's going to pick, but I'm going to do medium. And you can put them as close or far apart as you want. Okay, I'm going to put one on this side. And one on the other side. Okay, so just to review, right now we have our sock with our body, our head, and 2 eyes. Okay? I'm gonna go ahead.
So cute.
See, Miss Nancy picked little eyes, mine has bigger eyes. And hers is nice and fuzzy. I like the texture of her sock. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my whiskers now. And I want a light pink nose. So I'm gonna pick a light pink bead. I'm gonna go ahead and put the pipe cleaner through the beads. Like this. Once the bead is in the middle, you can position the whiskers however you want. Alright, so I'm going to put one at the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. So it's going to kind of look like a little spider. Once you have this, you can go ahead and glue it. So if you're using a hot glue gun, remember to ask someone for help. I prefer that you guys use regular glue, but if you're going to be using the hot glue, make sure you ask someone for help. Okay, you're going to place it right under the eyes. Okay. So again, to review, you have your body, the bottom, the head, you have your ears, your eyes, your nose, and your whiskers. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select a tail for my bunny. Okay, I happen to like the color pink, so I'm going to grab this one. It looks a little funky, it's fuzzy, and it has some texture to it, so I'm going to add this one, and I'm going to give it to Miss Nancy to pick her tail.
I'm going to pick a yellow tail to match my yellow nose of my little bunny.
Okay, again, I'm going to put my glue, and I'm going to attach it to the back of my bunny. Okay, so we are almost done. The last step is to add a ribbon. And actually, I'm going to go ahead, I just see Nancy opening the buttons, I forgot about that. I'm going to add some buttons to mine. Let me see what I find in here. I'm going to use some colors, some pastel ones, just because Easter reminds me of those colors. So I'm going to get maybe a light yellow, a light pink, and I see some hearts in here. Let me see if I find a green heart for a while.
Oh, you have it right here.
There it is. Nancy found it for me. So we're going to do our wild green heart right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start gluing my buttons on. Remember, these are optional. You can put whatever you want on your bunny. Totally up to you. So I'm going to put my pink up at the top, my heart in the middle, and my yellow one down at the bottom. And
I'm gonna attach my ribbon now. Okay, you can do a simple knot, you can do a bow, whatever you want. Alrighty, and that is my bunny. Right, I'm gonna bring it up close so you guys can see it, and you can see Miss Nancy's bunny as well. Alrighty, here are our bunnies bunny tails and our tails. Alright, and we're gonna add it to our little bunny family right here. So now we have our set of 3 bunnies. Alright guys, I hope you had fun.
So nice seeing everyone.
Hi guys, happy Monday. Today I am doing part 2 of my little bunny. Yesterday I did the car cloth bunny and I meant to do the sock bunny, but I ran out of time. So I'm doing the sock bunny today. And these just came from Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna open them, and all you're gonna need is one of them. So you can actually make 2 bunnies out of a pair of socks. So you're going to need your socks. I'm just going to be making one. You'll need your scissors, some twine or rubber bands, a cup, and you're going to need some rice, and this is just a bag of rice from Dollar Tree. And I'm just using this mixing bowl to catch all the extra rice so it's not so messy. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take our little sock and we are going to wrap it around the cup, and we are going to pour some rice into it. I don't want it to be too full, so I don't want the bunny to be too big around, but I do want to pack the rice so it'll stand up. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Maybe a little too much. I think I went a little overboard, so I'm gonna pour a little bit out. Okay. So, kind of like this size for its bottom half. So I think I'm gonna get some twine. I guess I could use rubber bands. That might be easier. Let's do this one with rubber bands since yesterday we used twine. Here. Oh, that's a little bitty one. Sorry if I'm throwing rice on you. And you can always go over the rubber band if you want with some twine to make sure it doesn't come apart. I'm gonna wrap another one around it just to be safe because I am making rice go everywhere. Okay, so for the second half, same steps. And I may have still made the bottom a little too full. We'll see. Give it a shake. Okay, we're gonna need more. See how this looks. What do you think? That looks kind of cute, doesn't it? Okay, so let's get some more rubber bands out, or you can use twine. And we use 2 rubber bands just to be safe. I may end up breaking that one. No, there it went. Okay. Let's make sure it will stand up. Okay, now all you're gonna do is take your little scissors and you're just gonna cut down the center, just like that. And there you have your little sock bunny. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you have a great day. Alright guys, we're going to move on to our second craft. It's going to be your Easter Bunny craft. Okay, I'm going to send you guys a handout that you can cut out and color at home. For the purpose of this demonstration, I have mine pre-cut just to show you guys. So it's going to be the outline of the body. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the bunny's belly. Okay, so I'm going to grab belly, already pre-cut. Okay, I'm going to grab my hot glue again. Add some glue. I'm going to place it right on the bunny's belly. It's going to look like this. Okay, next up, I'm going to go ahead and add the bunny's bow tie. Okay, again, I'm going to add some glue. A little bit more so it sticks. And we're going to put it right on the neck. Okay. You make sure you press down so it sticks. Okay, so for now, so you're gonna have your bunny, belly, and bow tie. Okay, next up, I'm gonna add the insides of the ears. They're also pink and they're pre-cut. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab it, put some glue. Okay, we're going for the first ear, and then we'll go ahead and do the same for the other one. Alright, so I'm gonna add this one ear. Okay, and we're going to do the same for the other ear. I'm going to grab some glue and just glue it onto the other ear. Alright, so this is what you guys should have so far. Your belly, your bow tie, and your two ears. Okay, next step, we're going to go ahead and add the bunny's cheeks. Okay, so they're two round little circles. I'm going to grab my pre-cut circles and add some glue. Okay, so I'm going to grab some glue. Okay, remember it's going to be one on each side, so we're going to put one on the right. Add some glue and one on the other side. Okay. So right now we have our belly, bow tie, ears, and cheeks. Okay, we're going to move on to our next step. We're going to add the bunny's smile. Okay, so again I have another pre-cut little piece, a smile. I'm going to put some glue. Remember, you can use construction paper, regular paper, the printout that I gave you, whatever you have on hand to create this. Okay, just make sure if you're using hot glue, again, be very careful, it gets hot. Okay, so again, our belly, our bow tie, our ears, our cheeks, and now our smile. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add the eyes now. Okay, I have two googly eyes that I grabbed from my crafting kit. I'm gonna add some hot glue. Okay, I'm gonna place some right above the smile, in between the cheeks. Okay. And down the middle. You can put the eyes as close together as you want, as far as you want, up to you. I like them a little bit close. That's just my personal preference, but you can put them far, close. Okay. So there you have it. You have your belly, your bow tie, your ears, your cheeks, your smile, and your eyes. Okay, and for the last touch, I'm going to add a carrot to the bunny's hand. Okay, so again, another pre-cut piece. And I'm going to place it in the bunny's hand. Okay, so he's going to be holding it. Okay, and I'm going to add this piece as well to my carrot.
that piece first. And now we're gonna add the whole carrot to the hand. Alrighty guys, almost forgot his nose. Let's try to add this and then we are done. Alright, gonna add some glue. I'm gonna put it smack in the middle. Alright guys, there you have it. Here is your Easter Bunny craft. You have your belly, your bow tie, your cheeks, your smile, your ears, your eyes, your nose, and the carrot. I'm gonna bring it up close so you guys can see it. Final product. Okay. Here is my Easter Bunny. Okay, I hope you guys have fun making your own. Alright guys, that was it for our Craft Thursdays. I hope that you guys had fun and that you guys send me tons of pictures and videos of you creating your own sock bunny and your own Easter rabbit craft. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and send some resources through our virtual link so that your parents, your caretakers can print them out for you and you guys can get those done. Also, we have our Zoom meeting tomorrow at 12:30 and I would love to see your creations there too for a little show and tell. Alright guys, as always, we wish you well and I can't wait to see you. Alright guys, now it's your turn. Take the next 10 minutes to go ahead and create your own sock bunny and your own Easter bunny craft. Can't wait to see them tomorrow on Zoom. Happy Easter. See you next time, guys. Remember to please send us photos, videos, tag us on social media, and bring your
Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about health and safety, so it's Special Topics Day. Before I start talking about health and safety, I first want to celebrate. Celebrate, what I mean by celebrating, let me explain what I mean by that. Celebrate means saying something like saying thank you to someone or recognizing someone for doing something nice or kind or special to you or to others. So what I mean by that, an example of celebration, like today, for instance, I want to celebrate my son who went to Publix to do grocery store for us because we're not able to get out, so he's doing that for us. So I want to celebrate him. I want to celebrate my husband because he's cooking every day and I cannot because I'm working at WOW and working long hours. So he's helping with the cooking. So I'm celebrating him. So you have to think about who you would like to celebrate, and you should do that every single day because that's important to see who you want to say thank you to. But right now, for instance, I want to celebrate all of you for watching the WOW videos and continue to learn every day, which is very important. Don't stop watching these videos. That would help you learn different new things, continue what you're learning at WOW since you're not here. So you need to see these videos every day. I also want to celebrate your parents or your sisters and brothers or the caregivers in the group home who are taking care of you and keeping you safe. So that's also important. And let's celebrate the WOW staff who's working very hard and preparing these videos and lesson plans for all of you. And they're also doing other special tasks for you. And you will soon see that. That will be happening very soon. So let's talk about health and safety. And before I continue all this, I do have something special at the end. So make sure you watch the whole video so you can see what I have at the end. Let's talk about what it means to be safe. Okay, so let's see the meaning of safe. Safe means protected from harm or danger, not to be lost. So protected from harm or danger and not to be lost. So let's talk about the example of being safe. One is staying home. Of course, as you know, everybody's staying home because of the coronavirus. We don't want to spread that illness to everybody. So that's why everybody's at home, to be safe. But when you have cold, remember we always said that when you have a cold or a flu, if you're sick or you're vomiting or anything like that, we always encourage people to stay home so they will not be spreading that to anybody. That's why it's important to stay home so other people don't get sick. So let me tell you some safety tips, how to be safe. So right now, of course, we're talking about washing your hands. Okay, and I know Barbara's taught you how. Well, I'm sure she did a lesson, and I know she did a video about washing your hands, and she was showing the proper way of washing your hands. So, like if you have a soap at home, or it could be something like this, like a pump, like one of these soap pumps. Okay, you put some in your hand, or you use the soap to lather it. Okay, first wet your hands and then get the soap and lather it really good until it's all soapy. When your hands are all soapy, but wash your hands like this, inside, outside, inside, your nails. Make sure everything is washed and wash your hands for a few minutes. After you wash your hands, you rinse the soap. Make sure you wash off the soap, and the most important thing is to dry your hands. Please do not walk out with your hands wet because then you're touching everything and that's not good. So make sure you dry your hands after you wash your hand after you wash with soap. Now, wearing a mask and gloves because of the coronavirus. If you have that at home, actually you should not be going out at all. But if you had to go out, and if you do have a mask, something like this or something similar to this or something better than this, or gloves, okay, these are the gloves, okay, you should wear the gloves and the mask before you go out if you're going to go to the grocery store. But I encourage you to stay home and hoping that somebody else will do that for you. And the person who's ever doing that should be wearing a mask and gloves just to make sure that, they don't get the virus, to protect themselves. And that's one way to keep yourself safe. Now, you heard about social distancing and you hear that in the news. What does that mean, social distancing? Well, it means intentionally creating a physical space between people, you and someone else, and in order to not spread the virus. Okay, so you have to be at least 6 feet away from the other person. I'm going to try to show you that as much as I can if it's possible. So I got something like, let me show you. I don't know if I can show you this, but it's really big. It's 6 feet is something like this, starting all the way like this. It's long, it's very long. You see that? 6 feet. You have to be 6 feet away from somebody else in order not to spread this virus, in order to protect yourself, to keep safe. Excuse me, let me put this down. So that is big. 6 feet is big. So that's very far away. That's how you have to keep your distance from that person. Another way of social distancing is not hugging, not kissing, not getting close, but maybe saying, just if you want to greet somebody, say hello. If you want to say I love you, just say I love you. You can say that. Say the peace sign. You wanted to greet somebody, but you have to keep that social distancing. That's very important. You don't want to get close to another person. So in order to avoid spreading the virus or you don't want to get sick. So that's important. That's why you hear that in the news about social distancing. So that's one way to keep you safe. Another safety tip is also to keep you safe is wearing a seatbelt. So when you get in the car, you got to make sure you wear a seatbelt. This is when, God forbid, if you get in an automobile accident, that will protect you from getting hurt. Moving forward, you can hit yourself on the windshield, or fall to the ground. But just wearing a seatbelt also keeps you safe. So that is important. Let's not forget that. And then, what about crossing the street? You have to look both ways. Now, right now, I shouldn't encourage you to go outside, but when things are better and when you have to cross the street, and hopefully you're with somebody crossing the street, you always look both ways. Left and right, always look both ways. And if there's a traffic light, you just have to wait till that light turns, red, and you wait for that signal, the walking signal that will tell you when you're supposed to walk, when you're safely able to walk. So that's another way to be safe. Another one is when remaining with your group. Remember, you used to go out in the CBE, or remaining with your family. When you go out in the community, which again, I'm not encouraging you to go out in the community right now, but when it's safe to go out in the community, you should always stay with your family. Or when we go out in the city, always stay with your group. You don't want to get lost, and that is important. So if you ever get lost, there's some safety tips to help you when you get lost. If you have a cell phone, use your cell phone. Call your mom and dad, or whoever's with you. Call on the cell phone. I know some of you have your cell phone. Call your companion who sometimes are with you. Call on your cell phone. If you don't have a cell phone, look for a security guard or a police officer who can help you. Or somebody who's, let's say, who's an employee at a business who can help you, and you can tell that person, hey, I'm lost. I can't find my mom and dad. I can't find my friend. So always look for someone to help you. But what is important is carrying an ID. You should have a Florida ID always, a picture of you on the ID with your address. So when you're lost, you can show that too, and that's important. So, example of places where you should always feel safe. And it should be like at your home, or if it's your group home, at the Wild Center, at church, also at, for instance, at work. If you have a job, you should always feel safe at all these places. And these places you should feel safe at all times, but you need to know and feel that the person who's there with you makes you feel safe, that you're not in danger. And also you need to know that the person who's there with you will take care of you and keep you safe. So if you don't feel safe, and you need to report it to someone, either it's your mother or your father or a staff member or a group home staff. If you don't feel safe, you're not supposed to remain quiet. You need to let someone know. Reporting is very important. Tell somebody, let somebody know. I don't know how much I have to stress that to you. You should not keep that quiet. You're not going to get in trouble if you say something and you don't feel safe. And that's important. Now, let's talk about emergency. What does emergency mean? Do you know what emergency means? And I hope you do, because we talk about this all the time. That means a serious situation, often dangerous, requiring some kind of action or help. That's emergency. When you're in an emergency situation, you don't feel safe. So it's something that seriously happens. Something happens seriously that you need to get help. Now, what are some examples of emergency? And I hope you remember that we talk about this all the time at the WOW Center. Example of emergency is a fire, okay? A serious injury when somebody falls down, they hit their head, or they have a fracture. Let's say they broke their leg or they broke their arm. That's an emergency. You need to get immediate medical attention. Or when somebody's unconscious. Unconscious is when somebody, like for instance, they fall down. They look like they fainted. They fall down. Their eyes are closed. They're not responding to you. Like you're saying, wake up, wake up. Are you okay? Okay. And they're not responding to you. That is an emergency. Or when somebody has a heart attack, and you can tell when somebody clenched their heart like that, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm feeling chest pain." That's an emergency. And they're sweaty, and they look like they look pale. That's an emergency. Or when somebody is choking, they go like this, and they're holding both of their hands like this, and they're coughing, and they're trying to cough, and they cannot breathe. That's an emergency. So these are examples of an emergency. So when there's an emergency, how do you get help? How do you seek help? Well, there's different ways you can do this. The most important one, do you remember the emergency number that we always teach you at the WOW Center? If you don't know, it's 911. Okay? Repeat back, 911. Okay? That's an emergency. Now, if you do call that a number, and one of those examples like I just mentioned, an emergency, you call that number, but you don't hang up, and you state the emergency to the other person. Stay on the line, but don't hang up. So stay, and they will ask you a lot of questions. They want to know first what's going on, and you need to let them know if you can. But if you're not able, they will come to you if you stay on the line. Now, I want to show you this card. Okay. This card, we have given it to you, and let me see if I put it closer, if you can see it. It says 911. Everybody has a card here. The social worker has given you this card. So if you can't remember the number, pull out this card, go to the phone, and dial 911. You should have this inside your pocket or your wallet all the time, and that's important to have that. Okay. Also, we have this at the WOW Center. Okay. We post this everywhere. You see this in all the buildings, in all the classes, in all the offices. And it says 911 up there too, okay, for emergency. So this is important. And we have that posted everywhere. If you cannot, if you don't have your card or anything like that, like I said, you can look at your card to try to see if you can call the number, but you need to report it to someone immediately. Or report it to someone that's close by. Somebody, you can tell them, look, I have an emergency in this, and that person can help you. I remember one of the individuals at WOW Center, the father, he was with his dad, and his dad was having a heart attack. And he knew that 911. He went to the phone and he called 911, and fire rescue came immediately. So see, that's how important when you have to listen when the teachers talk to you, when they talk about emergency situation. So next time when we talk about this, please listen carefully. Now let's talk about safety procedures. So when there's a fire at your home, it's important, if there's a fire, you need to get out of your house immediately. Find the nearest exit that is the safest exit of your home and get out of there. And once you're out of there, go outside. You can go to a neighbor, his house, and you can call 911 or ask the neighbor to call an emergency. So that's important. You need to get out quickly from the house. Now here, we do fire drills. So if there was a fire at WOW, and we practice this every month, You need to listen to your teacher. First, for one thing, even at home and while you stop what you're doing immediately. So if here we put the fire alarm. Of course, there's not a fire alarm at home. Hopefully you have, I should say, those smoke detectors, and that will go off. And when you hear that going off, you should drop what you're doing and just get out. Like I said, at the WOW Center, you just drop what you're doing. You hear that fire drill, and listen to your instructors, because your instructor is going to tell you where to exit. You should know where to exit because we've been practicing that every month. So you exit out, don't run, don't panic. You remain calm, just like at home and here. Don't panic, just walk out. Follow your group with your staff members, and you know where we go. We always go to that grassy area that is right next to the parking lot of the staff member, where the staff members park. You stay there until it's safe to return home. I mean, not home, sorry, return to the WOW Center, okay? Just like you can at home, you can return back home if it's not safe. So that's important. That's the way we evacuate here at the WOW Center. So you do the same thing. If there's a thunder and lightning storm, okay, that's important. That happens a lot in Florida. We get a lot of rain, get a lot of thunder, and we get a storm. So you have to stay indoors. Okay, that's important. You don't want to be outside when you start hearing thunders or lightning. You need to go inside because it's safe. Also, stay away from open doors and windows. You can't, because the light can come in and can strike you. So stay away from open doors and windows. Very important. Don't talk on the telephone. Don't have your headset on, because a lightning can strike electrical things and the phone lines. So don't be on your headphones or and also on the phone. So when you hear thunder and lightning, you should not be on there. And also turn off the computers and appliances and television. That's important too. And of course, if you're at the beach, do not go in the water, or in the pool. Do not go in the water. You have to avoid the water if there's thundering and lightning. So you got to keep yourself safe, and that's important. What about hurricanes? And of course, in Florida, we sometimes have hurricanes. And the hurricane season right now is like June 1st to November 30th. So when that month comes, we have to be prepared before a hurricane comes. So you have to listen to the radio and television and hear information when a hurricane is coming. So always keep posted, be prepared for that. Now, actually, you should not wait to get ready when a hurricane takes place. You should have all these supplies ahead of time. For example, plenty of water. Okay, you should have shutters to put on your window. Some people don't have shutters. They have these plywood, but you should have shutters. You should have enough food supplies in case if a hurricane comes. When a hurricane, so you have that already at home. And it's important that if a hurricane comes, to put up the shutters at home and to put away any objects outside of your house, because when there's a hurricane, there could be a lot of wind and start blowing all those objects, and that can be very dangerous. Now, while the WOW Center closes, as everybody knows, if the Dade County Public School closes, the WOW Center closes. We want to make sure everybody is safe, so you have to remain at home. And once the hurricane passes and everything is safe, then we will let you know when you can return to the WOW Center. After the hurricane passes, you're not to go outside the house because there could be a lot of debris, and that can be harmful and dangerous. You don't know what's on the ground. So do not try to go outside. I encourage you to stay until it's safe to go outside. So now we're going to talk about dangerous chemicals, okay? You need to stay away from dangerous chemicals, not to touch any dangerous chemicals. I'm going to show you some dangerous chemical that I'm talking about. For instance, okay, right here, Clorox. Okay, you use that to wash clothes and things like that. You're not to swallow this, or you should not let this get on your skin, because that is harmful. Another dangerous chemical. Let me show you. These are cleaning, to clean the floor. There's some cleaning supplies you have to be careful. You don't want to drink this. This is not something you drink. That can hurt you. Okay, then you would have to go to the hospital immediately. So you don't touch any cleaning chemicals. And that can be, if you happen to drink this, you would have to go to the hospital immediately. Another dangerous chemical is this bug spray. Gotta be careful it doesn't go in your eyes and go in your skin. This is dangerous. This is poisonous. Actually, all that is poisonous, what I just showed you. So don't touch that, because these dangerous chemical, if it goes into your eyes or your skin or you swallow, you need to go to the hospital immediately. It's like you would have to call 911. It can hurt you. So stay away from all that. And if by any chance that you get that on your hands or your skin, please wash it off immediately. Okay, immediately. Okay, don't let it stay on you. Now let's talk about insects and animal bites. Okay, if you have a severe allergic reaction to insect bites, like, you know, if you get let's say a bee stings you or a wasp, and you're having trouble breathing, or some people get a very severe allergic reaction to that, you need to get an emergency as soon as possible. Especially if an animal bites you, you need to get an emergency. It's going to require medical attention. And then the next thing I want to talk about safety is strangers. And you have to be careful with strangers, because unfortunately there's some bad people in this world and they want to hurt people. And you don't want to be near any stranger because you don't know that person. If you don't know the name of that person, you've never been with that person, you need to be careful. You need to protect yourself. You need to be safe. So do not open the doors to strangers. Okay, if somebody knocks on the door and they say, hello, can you please open the door? If you don't know that person, do not open that door. Keep that door locked. If your door is locked, you're safe at home, but don't open the door. If your mom is at home, your dad, let them know there's somebody at the door, but you don't open it if you don't know that person. Also, do not talk to any strangers on the phone. Sometimes strangers can call on the phone and they want to know your name and address, and they ask you all these sorts of questions. Do not answer those questions. And you can hang up. Don't even talk to the person. If you don't know that person, you should not be answering you should not give out any personal information. Your address, your phone number, and social security, none of that should be given out. Okay, so do not talk to strangers on the phone. And do not connect with strangers on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. That can be dangerous. You don't know that person and you start having conversation with that person, then that person wants to come and see you or wants you to meet them somewhere. You do not do that. That's dangerous. You're not supposed, that's not safe. And do not talk to strangers in the community. If anybody comes up to you and wants to talk to you, do not accept anything from that stranger. Walk away immediately. If he asks you to come with him or wants to show you something, walk away. Do not stay with it, and report it to someone. And report to somebody that somebody came up to you and was trying to ask you to go somewhere. So that's important. So you need to protect yourself. As long as you do all those things, you're safe. Okay. So now we're going to talk about abuse, neglect, and exploitation. We talk about this almost every day. The teachers talk to you about this. The social workers talk to you about this. I've mentioned it to you also. This is important. This is a way we need to talk about these things because we want to keep you safe. We don't want anybody to hurt you. So that's why we talk about abuse, neglect, and exploitation. And when we talk about this to you, please listen carefully. So that way, it's a way to protect you. So let's talk about abuse. What does abuse mean? Okay, I hope you know what abuse means. I know you know the different kinds of abuse, but what does abuse mean? It means cruel and violent treatment of a person, like somebody that wants to harm a person, that seriously harms someone. So what are some examples of abuse? Okay, let's start looking at some example of abuse. The first one is physical abuse. Now, physical abuse is like somebody repeatedly, always, like hit you, punch you, things like that, or being very rough at you, being rough with you, but constant and repeatedly. I'm not talking about one time. This is always, to the point that you get bruises on your body, or you can even get some people get people that have been abused have had fractured fingers or arms or whatever. It's when you see bruises and then they hit you and it hurts. Okay, that's physical abuse, and so nobody should be doing that to you. You should not allow anybody. If that happens, you need to let somebody know. Another one is emotional and or verbal abuse, and this is when they repeatedly, or somebody's always making threats to you, like they're going to say, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to punch you, or things like that. That's not right. Or for instance, making fun of you, always saying you're fat, you're ugly, and that is not right. That's not kind. Another is name calling you names that are not nice. Nobody should call you, they should be calling you by your name. And that is not nice, and kind of making all these names. Or isolating, keeping you away from everybody. That is not good too. So that is verbal and emotional abuse. And now with the next one is sexual abuse. When somebody touch your private parts and you know that it doesn't feel right, this is your body. They're not supposed to be touching your private parts anywhere. Or somebody forces you to touch somebody else's private parts. That is sexual abuse. When that happens, that is not right. Physical restraint. What does physical restraint? We talked about this here too. It's when the physical restraint is overused. When this happens constantly, all the time, prevents from a person moving freely. Like they let's say, for instance, they tied you onto the chair or to a wheelchair and they don't let you come out. They restrain you. They keep you there and you're not free to move. Or they keep you locked up in your room. That's physical restraint, and that's an abuse too. Another one is chemical restraint. What does that mean? Chemical restraint, we also talk about that when they overly medicate you, when they give you a lot of medication. Why? Maybe just to calm you down too much, but it's harmful. Like when they over medicate you, for instance, that you're not able to speak well, you're not able to move freely, or you're always falling asleep, or you can't even think or speak. That is not good, okay? That's something you have to be careful that they don't give you a lot of medication, and that could be very harmful. So now let's talk to the next topic. We already talked about physical abuse. We talked about all the different kind of abuse: physical abuse, verbal, emotional abuse, and we talked about chemical restraint, and we talked about physical restraint, and we talked, I hope I didn't forget one. I want to make sure that these are so important, and sexual abuse. Okay, these are all, we talked about this all the time at the WOW Center. The next one is, what is exploitation? I know this is a very hard and difficult word, and sometimes we would not remember what is exploitation. And I want you to remember this one, because this one is important. Exploitation means the action of taking advantage of someone or treating someone unfairly in order to benefit oneself, to benefit the other person. So it's like somebody take advantage of you, okay, and treat you unfairly in order to benefit that one person who's doing that to you, okay? It's not to benefit you, it's to benefit the other person. So what are some examples of exploitation? Okay, for instance, not allowing the person to have their money, not allowing that person to have his and her money, okay? It's like keeping that money away from that person, and that's not right. You know, if you have your own money, that person, nobody should keep that money away from you. It's your money. Or stealing your money is also exploitation. Or stealing your personal belonging is exploitation. So, or even if you have, like I say, a checking account, if you have a checking account or something, and somebody goes in there and take your money, that is not right too. So these are examples of exploitation. And then the next one is, what is neglect? We talked about this too. So let me, you know the meaning of neglect, and I'm going to share this with you. So it is ignoring the person, not caring for the person, not supervising the person, and not giving attention to that person in order to make sure that he or she is safe and in good health, so in good condition. So this is important, and it's important. And what I mean by that whoever takes care of you is making sure that you're well taken care of. So I'm going to give you an example of neglect. Neglect means, for instance, if nobody provides you food and you're hungry all the time and now you're not getting food, or nobody's providing you clean clothes and you're wearing the same clothes every single day and it's dirty and it's not being washed, or like, for instance, not providing you a safe home. Maybe at home it's not safe because maybe who's ever taking care of you is abusing you, like hitting you or punching you and things like that. Maybe the home is not safe. Or not providing you transportation to go to places, keeping you at home at all the time and you want to go to somewhere and you can't go. Or not giving your medication when you're supposed to take your medication. If you have a high blood pressure and you're supposed to take your medication, that's dangerous. You need to take that. Or not taking your doctor on a yearly basis to be checked out, because we need to go to the doctor every year to make sure that we're fine and we're in good health. Or not taking you to the dentist. That's important too. You need to have, your teeth needs to be healthy. Let's say not giving you a wheelchair, a good wheelchair, because maybe your wheelchair is something's wrong with your wheelchair, that you're not able to move around, or it's broken or something like that, and they're not providing you a good wheelchair, or just not supervising you, leaving you alone to take care of all your needs, and you're not able to take care of all your needs. So these are examples of neglect, okay? And that's important that you recognize what neglect means. Now, do you know what to do if you ever abused, neglected, or exploited? Just like what we talked about, all these different things. I hope you remember the abuse hotline. Remember we talked about the abuse hotline? And let me go back. Remember that with the card we give you, this one has an abuse hotline number. Okay, it's here. You're supposed to have that in your wallet and carry it with you all the time. The abuse hotline on this one, it says 1-800-962-2873. 1-800-962-2873. So you have this here, and if you forget, the number is here. I know many times I hear is 1-800-96-ABUSE. But the word abuse, the numbers are right here. Okay, so if you have that on if you have that with you, you're able to call. Now remember, let me stress this important. You don't call 911 or you don't call this number just because, let's say, somebody called your name one time or somebody got you upset. No. You call 911 when you're seriously hurt, that requires attention. If you fracture your leg, if you fracture, let's say, or somebody, like I say, who's unconscious, or like you're bleeding a lot, or someone is having a heart attack or is choking, that's when you call 911. You don't call 911 because you're angry at someone. No. Or that somebody didn't let you do something. No. You don't call abuse on your mother, your father, or anybody else, or your friend, just because you dislike, because you were told to do something you didn't want to do. For instance, taking a bath. It's important to take a bath every day. So you need to take a bath every day. That keeps you safe and that keeps you clean. Just because you're angry, you're upset, you don't want to do that, you don't call it abuse. No. So try to understand, when I talk about physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, is when especially physical abuse and all this, is when they repeatedly do it all the time. Sexual abuse, if they touch your private parts, no, it doesn't mean it has to happen several times. If it didn't make you feel uncomfortable and you didn't like it, you report it immediately. It only requires one time for that. But the other stuff, remember, if somebody's harming you and you feel like you're in danger and you're afraid of your life, you call the abuse number, and that's important. Now, what happens, and also, just one more thing. Besides that card, remember, we have this posted everywhere. It's on the wall, and it has the abuse hotline number on there, if you can remember that. And also we have there, I forgot to mention, we have a poison control. So if you, remember I told you about those chemicals, if you drink it or anything like that, we have to call poison control. So that's important. If you cannot remember those numbers, please report it to someone, to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, or a staff member at WOW, or your support coordinator. Do not stay quiet. Report it to someone. I don't know how much I have to tell you how important that is. You should not feel like you're in danger. You should be able to report it to someone. Now let's talk about the next thing, the health. What does health means? Okay, let's say that health means to feel physically, your body, mentally, and emotionally well. Okay, that's what health means. Let's talk about physical health. Physical has to do with the well-being of your body. Okay, your body. It has to do with your diet. It has to do with your physical level of activity. Okay, that's important. So it's important to take your body, to eat the right food, and to exercise. I know Morale keeps mentioning that to you, all of you, about this, and we all mention that to you. And we ourselves have to do the same thing. Okay, so we want to keep our body healthy. Make sure we eat well and we exercise. Another one is mental health. Has to do with the well-being of your mind. So make sure that you are learning new things, okay? Challenging your mind. Working is a way of challenging your mind. Some of you have jobs, and that's good. And also being positive, not always being negative. That's important for your mind. And then the next one is emotional health. That has to do with the well-being of your emotions, okay? Emotions are like sadness, happiness, anger, joy, and laughter. Those are emotions, okay? So you can control yourself by not always being sad all the time, not being angry all the time, okay, or not worrying all the time, or being stressed out all the time. You can control that, okay? So you don't, if you're not able to control that, then you need a little bit of help. So it's important to be happy and not let things get to you, especially right now with this coronavirus. We cannot be upset or worried. It's out of our control, but what's under control is to remain safe at home with your family, and that's important. And the next thing, you have to ask yourself, am I physically healthy? Okay, so it's important to get your annual checkups from your doctors. You need to have an annual checkup. They do your blood work to see everything's okay. Your doctor also listen to your heart. They check your lungs. They check your ears. They check your eyes. All that is important. You need to have your annual checkup, just like your dental checkup. You need to go to get your teeth cleaned. They need to check your teeth to make sure everything's all right. So that's important. If you ever feel pain in any part of your body and it's not going away at all, that's a signal. That's telling your body, hey, something's wrong. So you need to go see your doctor and explain what is going on and let your doctor know what's going on, okay? And that's important. Now, am I mentally or emotionally healthy? Okay, that's something you need to see if you feel like you're mentally, emotionally healthy. And it's important to see a special doctor or a therapist if you're always feeling sad and you're always crying, or if you're always feeling anxious and you're not able to calm down at all, and you're having a hard time, or you're not sleeping well at all, and you're staying up because you're always feeling sad or anxious or worried. Or maybe you're not able to control your anger all the time. You're always angry all the time. So these are signs of your emotion, or your that it's telling you there's something not right, or something's going on. So you can request from your support coordinator to see a psychiatrist or a behaviorist, or tell your mother or father, look, I need to see someone because I'm always anxious. I'm always worried. And now I know this now. I know stressful times, and this is normal to feel a little bit anxious and worried and concerned. But when you're anxious and worried for a long period of time and it's not going away, that's a concern. Everybody sometimes gets sad, and sometimes you get anxious. But when it doesn't go away for a long period of time, you're like that all the time, then there's something not right. Okay, so we gotta help you. Now, if you're having, let's say for instance, I'm gonna give you some example. If you want to communicate better, and you want to express your needs and wants, you need to communicate to your support coordinator that you want to see a speech therapist, because a speech therapist can help you with that, okay? Or like, for instance, if you're having trouble walking, you're having walking difficulties, and your joints let's say they're very stiff, and you're having trouble moving around, you may want to ask your support coordinator, I want to see a physical therapist to help you with that, okay? Or if you have trouble swallowing food, you may want to see a dietitian or a therapist specifically for that. So you ask your support coordinator, okay, I want to see somebody. So, or tell your mom or dad, I want to see somebody. So these are things that are very important. Now, because of this coronavirus, you're not able to make an appointment and go sit in the office to see a doctor right this moment. For instance, I had a stomach issue and I saw my doctor through my computer, like a video, a camera. It's like called telehealth. That's what it's called. So you see them through a video and you tell the doctor what's going on with. That's with your doctor, with your therapist, with your psychiatrist, because it's not safe to get out of the house right now. So you need to share all this through the video camera. But hopefully this will be all gone. You can go back and see your doctor and your therapist and your behaviorist and even your speech therapist. Next, I want to mention too, for instance, and again, when we talk about going back to the medication and things like that, I don't want you, I forgot to mention, I don't want you, okay, I'm showing Advil, if I had Tylenol, or any kind of medication, don't try to take the medication on your own if you don't know how much you're taking. Okay, that's important. I don't want you to do that. You need to, hopefully your mom and dad will tell you the medication you're supposed to take, or give you the medication, just like the person in the group home will give you the medication, because if you take too much medication, it can harm you. So I forgot to mention that. And that's something also I forgot to mention about being healthy and being safe. That if you are sneezing, okay, please get a tissue. Okay, if you have to keep this in your wallet or your purse, whatever. not your wallet, sorry, in your purse or in your pocket. There's tissue like this. If you're sneezing, don't sneeze at the person. Sneeze, try to maybe, what I sometimes do when I sneeze inside my shirt because I don't want to give it to somebody else. So I get my tissue and I wipe my nose and everything like that. And then I go wash my hands because I don't want everybody to, I have allergies. So I don't, and I have to wash my hands after I'm sneezing. Or if you have a cold, you have to wash your hands. Also, if you're coughing, okay, don't cough at the person. Cough like this. I do this. I cough inside my shirt, or like I go like this. Like I said, I make sure that the person, I'm not coughing at the person. So that's important. And then, of course, wash your hands and things like that. So I forgot to mention that because that is important. And then one thing I want to add, remember I always tell you when you're feeling a little bit anxious or nervous or anything, and I used to say those few words, I want to add one more little word to this whole thing. I want to say that, and when you repeat to me, I am strong, I am fine, I am safe, I can do this. I can do this. Okay, you gotta say I can. So I want you to say I can do this. So let's do this again. Okay, I am strong. Okay, I am fine. I am safe. I can do this. So add that in the end, and if you say it several times, it will help you.